Alright, hello, welcome back. We're going to talk about Airbnb this time. It's under Module 10.1. We're going to have a few things we're going to talk about under the hospitality category, in the hospitality category. Let's start off with Airbnb. What is Airbnb? It is an online marketplace or a platform where people looking for a hotel alternative can find your listing. So if you had a guest room, for example, you could place it a listing on Airbnb just like you would on Craigslist, and people would find you. So that's great. And there's a whole bunch of things that makes it really super nice, and we're going to talk about those. So it's a great website. Okay, why consider Airbnb? Well, one is because the world comes to you. It makes it a lot of fun to meet people from all over the world. But financially speaking, about 10 days, as a rule of thumb, about 10 days of hosting Airbnb, renting your space, furnished space, is equal to 1 month's rent. That's a general rule of thumb. So if you rent it for 20 days, you're going to make about twice as much. So it's very profitable. Also, it's a complimentary service. If you're running corporate housing and you're running Airbnb, you can put them together so you have less vacancy. If you have a furnished regular long-term rental, you can match that up with Airbnb, so it gives you a lot of options. So how does it work? Well, first of all, you sign up for an account. You go to airbnb.com, sign up for an account, and you upload your photos and the description of your offering. Now, photos are super important. Airbnb sends a photographer to you if you request that, or you can have a professional take photos for you. I recommend that. That way you can get up and going faster, and also do some merges like I showed you in my bonus material, my private dormitory. You want to merge those photos together. Also, the next step is you figure out how to price your dwelling, your offering, and we'll talk more about pricing strategies towards the end. And then you sit back and wait. You wait for someone to contact you by email and request a booking. And then once you get someone, you want to give them all you got. You want to make sure you're there for them, make sure they have a great experience with you. Give them 110%. Then after they're gone, you review them, what you thought of them as a guest, and they're going to give a review of you, of what they thought of you as a host, and that goes on the Airbnb site for other people to check out. That's how, instead of credit checks, people check out reviews of peers, of people that are in the Airbnb community. Here is an example of what we're talking about with reviews. This is in Pittsburg, Pennsylvania. We see we got 4 offerings here. One person has 15 reviews. That means they've rented their place out at least 15 times. The person has 2. This person here has 8 reviews, all 5 stars. And this one has 123 5-star reviews. So who are you going to be most confident in booking? Of course, it's going to be this person with 123 5-star reviews. Now, if their listing is not available, not shown, you're likely going to feel most comfortable with this person with 15 5-star reviews, and so on and so forth. Now look at this. This person here with 2, they don't even have any stars yet. They really haven't earned their way yet. But their offering is for $50 per night. And look at this person here with 123. Their listing's $120 per night. So you see, you kind of work your way up based on the number of reviews you have. That's how you earn your credibility in the community. This person who has 15 or 8 reviews has a slightly higher nightly rate. This person with 15 is even higher than that, comes in second place, and this one has the highest because they have the highest number of 5-star reviews. They feel that they can demand that type of rate. Now, word of caution, your own landlord policy, your insurance policy, has things in it about operating a business. The landlord policy is for long-term tenancy, so for dwelling. So you want to read that carefully and look for the loopholes. Now, Airbnb offers $1 million of coverage for property damage to address this issue. So you want to piece those together for yourself. I don't want to give you any legal counsel or any insurance brokerage. I don't have a license, so I don't want to go there. But I want you to read those and convince yourself of how safe it is. For me, I'm good with the amount of there's very little risk, and for me, so I do it. Okay, let's check out the next one. So what's your potential? How do you go about evaluating your potential that you could possibly make if you turn one of your rentals into an Airbnb unit? So let's actually go through that. So there's a website called airdna.co, not .com, and this is this logo, and I pulled the information from this website. Again, we're going to stay with Pittsburg, Pennsylvania, and talk about that. Now, the red dots are dwellings where they're renting the entire place out, maybe a studio. The blue dots are when they're sharing, actually renting a private room. For example, if you had a 2-bedroom apartment that you actually lived in and you rented your guest room, that would be a private room that you're renting out. The green dots are where people are actually sharing a room. Say you're in a studio and you could actually share another, if you had a twin bed in that studio, you could actually do that. So very few of those, but they do exist. And you can see these dots are placed over the map so you can find out where your competition is. And you would want to run such a map in AirDNA for your town to see how things look. Okay, also in our AirDNA, they're showing me that out of 419 listings, the things in blue are where people rent the entire place out, like a studio or a house. And so 41% of the people do that, but the majority, 57% in red, are renting out private rooms. That's very important to realize. They're renting out guest rooms, and that's one thing I use to come up with my dock dorm, is the fact that people are very willing to share a dwelling as long as they have a private room, and they also prefer private bathrooms. So you, depending on what you have, you want to build your business plan to take advantage of that. You definitely will have business. You'll even have business if you wanted to have a shared room. There's still a sliver of people that will give you business. I wanted to show you this slide from AirDNA to talk about amenities, what people expect to be in those units. You can see here we have a cable TV, washer and dryer, these options, a gym, air conditioning, a pool, and Wi-Fi. Now, my personal rule is I drew a line here at the 75% mark, and anything that where over 75% of the people have that amenity, I would want you to address that. I think that is something that you need to have in your offering as well. So in this case, we have a washer and dryer, air conditioning, and Wi-Fi. Those things are pretty much a must-have to be competitive, at least in Pittsburgh. Okay, let's take a look at this. This is from AirDNA. This graph is showing the average nightly rents in Pittsburgh. So entire homes, they can be charged, and on average they go for $120 a night. Private rooms, that's where you're sending out a guest room, go for $60 a night, and a shared room goes for half that, about $35 per night. Look at that the entire house and the private room, that's like about half of that. This 60, if I times 2, is 120, so that's pretty good. That the entire house is worth twice as much as the private room. Again, here's some data where we're showing what you could expect per month. Now this is a sample piece of information. This isn't the actual from Pittsburgh. AirDNA wants you to buy their report, so they give you some example data to look at. They want you actually to purchase it. And if you are interested in pursuing Airbnb, I recommend that you do actually purchase the real data. But look at here, or in the studio, you can see the blue, which is basically people in the 50% percentile. I would say that's equivalent to having a C grade. The red bar is for a B grade, and the orange is for an A grade. So just an average Airbnb offering for a studio is bringing in $2,025 per month. That's not bad. Also, AirDNA is going to show you the top 10 offerings for Airbnb, and you can go and click on those and actually see their ads and what they look like. I recommend that you take a look. But look at this, 8 out of the 10 are private rooms. Again, emphasizing that people are willing to rent from you if they can have a private room, and that's all they want. They don't need an entire apartment. So that's important to realize. But 2 of these are entire apartments. So there are markets for both cases. You just want to build your business around what you have. Okay. Now here is Rentometer. They collect big data for regular landlords, finding out what the monthly rents are all throughout the United States. And here in Pittsburgh, they're showing us that the average landlord brings in, my arrow's off, $984. That's how much the monthly rent average in Pittsburgh is right now. So let's compare those together. We have the classic landlord who's renting by the month, brings in an average of $984, and the average Airbnb operator brings in $2,025. So you can see it's more than twice as much. That's the reason why you want to consider changing how you operate your units. At least one of them is worthwhile figuring that out. Now, of course, the person from Airbnb has to pay for housekeeping, they pay for utilities and supplies and things like that. So these are just grosses. The number's going to come down some, but still, you can see it's still going to be quite profitable. Okay, I've been traveling around. I always use Airbnb when I'm during my travels, so I can get experiences and learn from other people. Some things I like, my faves, are when people let me use their bicycles. I love that. When they give me a list of insider hangouts and coffee shops, that's really nice. When they allow me to check myself in, so I don't have to worry about arriving at a certain time, that really takes the pressure off. When their units are super squeaky clean, it's super nice, and when they give me some nice smelling soaps and lotions or something that I wouldn't buy for myself, it gives me that luxurious spa feel. It's a very nice touch. My turn-offs are when people come into my room and make my bed after I leave. If I wanted that type of experience, I would go to a hotel, so I really don't like when someone comes into my room after it's booked to me. Also, having me wear guest slippers, that was a big turn-off. And sharing a bathroom with a host or with someone I didn't know, I just wasn't up for that. If I could afford to do better, I absolutely would. And I can, but I tried. I was trying it out. Okay, a word about pricing. I promised you I would talk about that. Well, one thing is you don't want to move your price too high too soon. When you first start listing with Airbnb, you want to be on the lowest side of the market so that people will give you a chance. You got to build up your reviews. Also, you don't want to keep your pricings low too long. As soon as you have some stars, as soon as you're like 5 or more in, you want to start moving your pricing up. Also, just like hotels do, their rates change throughout the week. Their weekend rates are higher than their weekday rates. You want to do the same for your Airbnb offering. And over the year, things change. Prices may go down when people don't travel as much in your area, and prices for hotels typically go up during a certain travel season. So you pay attention to that. You want to move your pricing in accordance to what the hotels are doing. Also, you got to factor in special upcoming events. Like when I was in Indianapolis, they have a big race there, the 500. When that race happens, rates for hotels can be as much as 8 times you want to list your Airbnb, you want to increase your rate for your Airbnb offering when the 500 comes to town. Be sure to do that. So I got these from learnairbnb.com. It's a course. You can check that out. It's got some good information on that website. Okay, as a summary, you can make side income by filling your short-term offerings with Airbnb if it's good with corporate housing or whatever you have, whenever you have a vacancy and you have a furnished unit, of course. Charging additional for guests or for pets and all kinds of fees that you can attach to customize your offering. And adjusting your rates to stay in line with hotels. That's how you can make the extra money more than a regular landlord would. And building up your reviews. Your reviews is everything. Even when you're operating as a long-term landlord, if you have a happy tenant, you want them to take a selfie and write a nice review for you so you can use it on your website or somewhere in your marketing. Okay, sorry to go long. I got a worksheet attached with the email that I sent you. It's going to have more details and references, and I'm always updating these handouts. So if you're interested in learning more about Airbnb, check out the handout. And if you have questions about this module, feel free to email them to me. I'd be happy to help you out. If you want me to read over one of your ads that you're putting on Airbnb, I'll be happy to do that. Okay, that's it for now. I'm going to catch you next time.